one of the big challenges for farmers is obviously going to be to cope with climate change. But I also think that the big challenge we're facing in agriculture in general is how can we bring in smallholder farmers as a way to mitigate the risks of climate change, to have more sustainable production systems, and especially that those smallholder farmers can actually be a productive part of, let's say, country development and economic development as part of the full value chain. I think access to technology, biotechnology, information, and especially to systems that support decision making and taking, and then the active application of the decisions farmers make and take are extremely important. Today we are at the point where it could be a risk that actually we divide the farmer community in two, in a community with big farmers that have access to technology, that have access to information, and they develop and they grow and they actually fuel the economy and fuel the development of many countries, while at the same time it would have a big gap, and then we leave those smallholder farmers that do not have access to the information, do not have access to the technology, and especially by that are deprived from good decision making and taking because they don't have the information close to make the right decisions. And that would actually leave those smallholder farmers as a passive social capital, a passive social cost even, while they could actually be equally a motor for development. I think the whole question of climate change and climate resilience start with the fact that agriculture activities and agricultural decisions are context specific. That doesn't mean that the processes are different. No, actually the processes are very similar everywhere, but how those processes work out depend on the context. And climate is one of the important drivers of that context. The climate becomes more unpredictable in several areas because of the climate change. There's extreme events, etc., etc. But at the same time, today, if we look at our predictive capability, if we look at our analytics, we are more equipped than ever in history to predict, to not necessarily predict the future, but to look at different scenarios and select that scenario that is more resilient. So I think we should use climate data and access to climate data in combination with scenario planning so that it's not so much the attention towards how well am I in predicting the future, because the future is unpredictable. But how good am I equipped in my decisions that on a certain area of different possibilities that may happen with climate, that actually the decisions I take generate a more resilient system. So that is extremely important because farmers that are equipped with that information will be more effective at their farming exercise. And if we don't make sure that smallholder farmers have access to those same capabilities, that is really going to generate that gap.